Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, creeds, colors, shapes, and sizes, to VGA, Video Game Addicts. And I'm your host, Ultra Magnus. Now, today, guys, we're talking zombies, and in particular, Black Ops 2 zombies, and the game modes and new game types that will be accompanying the new Call of Duty game that gets released here in November. Now, what new modes and game types in particular, we can't say. Nothing at this point has been confirmed, with the exception of one small tidbit of information that was just released a few days ago that I will be going over shortly. Now, this time around, with the iteration of the up-and-coming Black Ops Call of Duty, we know that Treyarch has been fortunate enough to give us a whole team dedicated to the production of the game. Now, what that means, as far as I'm concerned, is that they're going to be giving us a much bigger and better and fleshed-out game. And that, I think, is something that all the zombie players who are fans of the game and franchise in general are asking for. Now, one little bit of tidbit of information that has been confirmed that we all, I'm sure, have probably heard at this point by now is that the Zombies mode will be going from a 4-player co-op to an 8-player. Now, with 8 players, that just opens up a whole list of new possibilities of gameplay, and I'm sure we can just sit here and imagine the things that Treyarch is planning to do with the zombie franchise. Now, when it comes to 8 players, we do know that there will be a 4v4 co-op, 4v4 versus mode. Now, what that entails in terms of the gameplay or the mode, I can't say, we can only speculate. Is it going to be something like a 4v4, competing for the most amount of points? Are they going to be, vying for position on the map or trying to hold an area down? Or maybe it'll be something along the lines where 4 players have certain objectives that have to be met, where the other 4 players are competing to get their objectives done before the other 4. Who knows? All I do know is that I'm really excited and can't wait to find out. Now, another little tidbit that we do know has been confirmed as well is that the Zombies game will be on the multiplayer engine. Now, that gives Treyarch a whole lot of information to be used in terms of how the game is developed. The multiplayer engine is much larger and can handle much more information when it comes to what's happening in the game. And that allows Treyarch to build much bigger maps, more complicated systems of gameplay. They'll be giving us much more zombies, and it allows them to build a game that will, in the end, have much more features than was previously capable on the old engine that they were using. Now, of course, one question that comes to mind when you think of the multiplayer engine, at least for me, and I'm sure most of us, if you've stopped to think about it, it's crossed your mind, is, well, now that we've got a multiplayer engine, does that mean that we're going to have multiplayer problems? I know for a fact in my experience in playing multiplayer, I've had problems where I've got into a lobby with a bunch of friends, and I can hear them, but they can't hear me, or I can't hear them at all, and they can't hear me. Voice, mic problems, which isn't the greatest of problems to have to deal with necessarily, but yet, in the end, you've got a whole bunch of these small problems. They all add up to make your gameplay experience, and it dumbs it down and makes it just a little bit less fun because you've got all these little annoying tidbits that are always bothering you while you're trying to play the game. Another thing that comes to mind too with multiplayer is that quite often I'll get into a lobby with my friends, and as we load into the game, or as we switch lobbies from, let's say, a private lobby where we're waiting to get into a game, and while we're trying to get into a game, players get kicked. So that's, it's food for thought. Ultimately, though, what it comes down to is that zombie players have asked for more, and Treyarch is aiming to deliver that. And I applaud them, and hats off to them, because the more innovative the gameplay, the more exciting and the more fun it is. We've all played games where the first iteration of the game was a lot of fun. They gave us gameplay that was exciting, and they allowed us to play the game in a way that was new. When it comes to the second iteration of a game, and you're excited because you had a lot of fun the first time around. You expect it was going to be something, the same type of gameplay that kept you interested and excited the first time, but they're going to take the gameplay and bring it up to another level and change it in a sense that it becomes fresh and new for you. And if it's the same old thing as the first time around, by the time you've played it the second time, you're done. And I know that for me personally, when it comes to a third iteration of a title, I usually don't go buy it because I know it's going to be the same old crap that I played 2 times already. So hopefully, Treyarch is going to try to innovate the gameplay in a way that keeps it fresh for us and makes it exciting for everyone to play. Another little bit of confirmed information that will hopefully make the gameplay for a lot of the players more competitive and open is that they'll be introducing a more in-depth system for leaderboard stat tracking. And, that's all part of Treyarch's plan, if you will, to help innovate the gameplay so that it does keep it fresh and different. Another little bit of tidbit, of course, yet again, that has been confirmed, and this is some of the more exciting information, is that theater mode will be coming into Zombies. Now, that, as far as I'm concerned, is another great feature that people probably have been waiting for way too long. Now, I'm excited when I think about this, just because you're looking at gameplay footage now that I've recorded from my personal PVR here at home. Now, the ability to record that on a vault and to watch it, to make montages, is really exciting to me. Now, there are problems with theater that I know we've had in the past. I know when I've had a game that's gone over, about 12 minutes or so, quite often it doesn't record, or you'll lose all your gameplay footage. Now, what happens when you're on round 50, let's say in a zombie match, and you've been playing for 4.5 hours? How is that going to work? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's going to record in small segments of 10 minutes at a time, and that'll give you the ability to go back and edit and use the footage from those 10-minute segments. Who knows? All we have to do is just to sit back and be patient and wait till November, which isn't that far away if you think about it. And another great feature that's going to be coming, and this is more along the lines of a game mode or game type, I guess. I guess it's game type, really, is that there will be wager matches coming to Zombies, and that, I think, is awesome. Now, how that's going to work, I couldn't tell you. I can't even start to even wonder how that's going to work. Is it going to be something like a gun game where you're on a map, vying to get through as many of the different weapons as you can as fast as you can, with zombies and thrown into the mix as well? Wow, shoot, how many different variations of games can you make with the ones that they've already created? Whether you just throw zombies into the mix or you change the game up entirely. Wow, I can't wait. I'm so excited. And another thing too with the new up-and-coming Zombies, and now I'm hoping that if Treyarch is smart, and I know that they're not a bunch of idiots over there, that they've taken examples from custom maps. I know that I've seen online there are probably hundreds of custom maps that people have made for World at War, and they're all PC maps, mind you. But still, some of the maps I've seen out there are utterly amazing and innovative. Some of the things that people have thought of and created with these modded maps is something, really to be applauded at. Some of the innovative perks that they've created, they've made their own perks. They've made variations in how the game is actually played, whether it be from something along the lines of more difficult zombies that you have to deal with right off the bat, or variations of weapons that they've created themselves. If Treyarch is smart, they're going to go and look at some of these custom zombie maps and get ideas that these people have created, and hopefully take some of these ideas and incorporate them into the new Zombies gameplay. I mean, I know that I've seen personally weapons that I thought were really well thought out and really, I guess, intelligently designed, if you will. They were effective weapons, especially when it comes to gameplay. I know that we've all experienced, and I'm an average, zombie game player. I'm not anything spectacular, but I know when I played the game that, my weapon essentially is effective till about round 20, and at that point I need to pack-a-punch it. and it's effective on mowing down the hordes till about round 30, and then it ceases to be effective. And that's when I think that second Pack-a-Punch would come in handy. But that's part of my wish list. I'm sure we've all asked for is, ooh, that second Pack-a-Punch, the ability to take that weapon one more time and upgrade it so that it actually mows down through the hordes. Because when it comes to round 30, it takes about 15 minutes to finish that round, and the only real way to keep progressing in the game and to play effectively is to have something like the RPK or the HK-21, which are the money makers. They're the guns that have the most ammo, so you don't have to worry about running out of ammunition during a round after you've got to mow down 150 zombies. But needless to say, though, when it comes to weapons, I hope the Treyarch takes a look at some of these weapon designs and maybe gets an idea of takes ideas from it and uses those ideas, incorporates them into the next Zombies game. Another thing too that I think that if they're smart is they're going to look at some of these custom zombie maps that people have made and look at the flow and the map layout, because some of these map layouts, I tell you, are really well thought out. How the flow of the map works in terms of how the player moves through the map and deals with the zombies in terms of the layout of the map itself, and with the there being enough space to move and round up zombie trains. They can do themselves a lot of good by having a really in-depth, look at some of these custom zombie maps. One that comes to mind that I've seen more than once on YouTube is a map that was made by a PC gamer. I'm afraid I don't know his name, but I'm sure if you go to YouTube and you look up YOTE'S LAIR custom zombie maps, you'll see there's tons of footage out there. And have a look and watch, because this map is really well thought out. Obviously the guy put a lot of time and effort into it. As far as I'm concerned, it's probably the best map I've seen, in how it's laid out, the size of the map, the difficulty level of the map, and just the small details. Obviously he's taken a lot of time to create and make this map a really fully flushed out zombies map. So, go check it on YouTube, give it a like and thumbs up, and maybe leave a comment and say thanks for having created it, because it's a great map and he deserves a little bit of thanks. One thing though that I would like to see, if I had a wish list like I just mentioned, is that I'd like to be able to play the game the way I want. I think ultimately that's the one thing that zombie players have asked for more than anything, is the ability to take the game and to play it in a game style that they want to play. So now that we're on a multiplayer engine, does that give us the ability then to have a level editor like we have in multiplayer, where you can have a private match and invite your friends in to play with you, and you set the parameters of the game the way you want? You can either have it so, the multiplayer, you can edit your classes, the duration of the match. If you're in combat training, you can set the difficulty of the AI. Those types of ideas where I can go in and set a game with for me and my friends to play. And I can set the parameters in terms of the difficulty of the zombies, whether they're runners or really hard, more difficult zombies to kill right off the bat. I can change the gameplay in the sense that I can throw in monkeys every 5 rounds, or however many rounds that I want. Dogs if I will, or heck, go as far as taking dogs and monkeys and throw them in the mix. So having the ability to change the game in that sense with a level editor, would be something that I'd really enjoy seeing. And I think ultimately, that's what Treyarch is aiming to deliver. They want to give us something that is going to stay fresh, and they want to make us happy, right? Because we're the ones that ultimately, line their pocketbooks, if you will. Their paycheck is coming from us, and it's based on their sales. So, guys, if there's anything I'd like to leave you with, heck, is do me a favor and comment below. And I invite you to tell me what you'd like to see, whether it's new game mode ideas that you've got, or game types, new weapons you think would be effective in the new zombies. Any ideas you have, just throw them down in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you. And we'll next time around we'll talk about them. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in to VGA. It's been great sitting here chatting with you. And I'd like to remind everyone just before I go that it takes just a few seconds to like, favorite, comment, or even subscribe And it helps me out a whole lot, guys. So remember, 24/7, 365, VGA is on the game.